We definitely got a lot of wiring problems here. So here's what's going on. Got my neutral switch. Stop lamp switch is continually on, which I'm pretty sure is wrong. Nothing going on in the rear, but that's probably because I had a burnout bulb in the taillight. I did have the rear brake working, but you can see in here, I guess you can't because it's too bright, but this instrument light, like just the illumination light, is constantly blinking. This one's on, but then when you depress the brake it stops blinking, so that's weird. The turn signals don't work at all. Yeah, there's something going on there, so I don't know what's up with that. Like, left side just turns on the indicator light, right side, you know, it blinks everything, but the turn signals don't. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. And also I checked into whether or not I'm getting spark, and I'm not. So that's another thing I'm gonna have to worry about. But one thing at a time. We're gonna get all the accessory lights working properly. So I think that there's some stuff wrong in the headlight bucket, probably from the previous owner wiring. He also cut this stuff down here, which I resoldered. Also, these spare grounds coming off of the lead, or the main grounding circuit in the harness. There's a few there. You can see I just kind of temporarily got this yellow wire stuck in there and grounding it kind of temporarily. Those all need to be grounded, obviously, but you know, there's just some stuff mixed up somewhere. I gotta figure out what's going on. And you know, none of the turn signals work. That's kind of the least of my worries. I want to get all the instrument lights working properly. Yeah, it's gonna take some time. Alright, we're making progress, and I've had to pretty much take out the entire loom and search around for shorts and such. So that mess will get cleaned up, but progress has been made. And also I took off the headlight bucket so that I could have easier access in here to try and make sense of all this stuff. So here's what I've made sense of. First of all, this brown wire coming out that just had two female ports, but nothing going into it. Brown is just, I assume, just constant power throughout the bike. So I just stuck the running light bulbs for the turn signals in there, and it lights right up. So there was something with the grounds. Like, I had this ground right here, which is hooked up to underneath the that ground right there. That's hooked up to underneath, it hooks up to the riser bolt at the bottom there. When that was hooked up to the main grounding circuit here, all the lights would flash with the turn signal. So I kind of don't know why, but I'd remove that ground because it's kind of a redundant ground, because the handlebars are already grounded, and the instruments, like the hand control instruments, they're already grounded. So I think it's slightly redundant, so I might just tape it off. But now the turn signals work properly. So there's your right, there's your left, and you can see the indicator is working good. And none of the instrument lights are flashing like they used to. However, what makes it odd is when I plug in the rear signals, all this stuff starts blinking again like it used to. So that kind of makes me think there's a grounding issue back here, because it was a ground issue causing it up there. So I just got to chase some stuff down, but no, progress has been made, and that's good enough. Alright, I figured out the rear signals. For some reason, the ground wire, which is the black wire coming off the aftermarket signals, going into the leads coming from, you know, the front of the bike for the turn signals. Plug the grounds in there, and it works. Now, I didn't think I would have to do that because the turn signals are grounded just automatically by being bolted in here. But I don't know, whatever, it works, I don't care. So I guess I'm just gonna be taping stuff off. So left front, left rear, right front, right rear. So I got signals, man. That's awesome. And yeah, none of the instrument lights are flashing like they used to. They're steady on, which is great. So now I guess try and figure out the headlight. So the taillight works. Literally all I had to do was change the bulb. I love it when things are simple like that. So there's, you know, the static sort of light, the driving light, brake light, driving light, brake light. So that works. Cool. Let's see what the headlight has to say. Well, I can't do the headlight yet because I need to get more fuses. Because I blew one of the fuses. Actually, I could probably swap a fuse. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So another thing I've been doing as a preventative measure, using a lot of this stuff, dielectric grease, on all the junctions, whether it's a little bullet connection like that or a larger connection like that white guy down there. Just taking it apart and spraying this in all the connections. Now, one thing I'm doing with all the bullet connections is I'm sanding this down, sanding the male part down, and the female part I'm just putting some grease in there, just preventing stuff. So progress has been made. First and foremost, the no spark issue and the fuse, middle fuse burning out was because of these blue wires right next to the coils. These were swapped. That one was supposed to be going there, that one was supposed to be going there. They're both solid blue wires, so it was pretty hard to tell the difference, but I swapped them. Now I have spark, and now I'm not blowing a fuse in the middle. Good. Love cheap fixes. Other issues, the horn is foobarred. The switch itself is just completely corroded and grody, and I tried to break it apart to fix it, but you know, I lost some parts. So I tried to go to Ace Hardware and get new clips, new spring. It just wasn't happening. So I got a new one in the mail, 20 bucks, no big deal. Second issue was the ground wires getting too hot. Yeah, the ground wires were just getting like way too hot, and reason for that is I didn't have enough of them. I was following the wiring harness, which had only 2 grounds on the entire wiring harness, which were back here in the rear of the bike. There's a little one right there, and then also up at the turn signals up here. But there were actually 3 other grounds that had to be put together, and those were those black and yellow leads that were coming off of the main grounding circuit that I mentioned in a previous video. Those needed to be put on the frame because essentially it spaces the load out. It makes it so not just one wire is taking the entire grounding load of the entire bike. So there's a ground there where the negative battery ground is. There's another, obviously that ground over there. And then there's another ground that, you know, this ground over here that I previously spoke about that's grounded to that engine mount there. And then also one of these spare leads, I ran a wire to the negative of the battery, which was on the, which was on the harness as well, or on the wiring diagram as well. So now all the grounds are taken care of. Now, what else was going wrong? What's up, dude? You're on camera.
I'm on candy camera.
You're on camera, dude. Let's see, what else was wrong? The tack was not right. It wasn't illuminated like it is now. And the stoplight switch, that guy, was illuminated. The reason being, the bulbs were swapped. I had the stoplight in where the background lamp should have been, and vice versa. So now it works properly. And that was a simple fix. Headlight wasn't working because the handlebars weren't grounded properly, and that was just making sure one of these wires coming off the handlebar was grounded to the frame properly. And it makes sense because, you know, if you trace it all the way down here, it's never not hitting any part of the actual frame. Like the risers are wrapped in rubber to dampen the vibration from riding. So got that figured out. The horn, obviously, as I said before, is gonna need a new button, but you know, everything's working pretty well. I can't show you how the turn signals work because I took that out for the moment, but you know, the high beam light works. There it is. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of light, or it's kind of dull light, but it works. High beams work, turn signals work, everything works. The rear lamp works now. Let's see if I can't turn it. Like, stop lamp works properly. So now what do? Now I need to get all my connections right. So these grounds are just crimped on there, and I don't trust crimp, so I'm gonna, you know, go and solder all these ring terminals together. I'm gonna wrap up all these solder jobs with electrical tape. You know, the front stop switch, they're just kind of in there. I'm gonna make terminals for them and, you know, get that all soldered in, and then just wait on the horn to come in. And then once that's in, I'll take care of that. But that's it for today. At this point, you know, I got spark. I got pretty much all the accessories figured out except for the horn. And yeah, I guess just get it all tight and good, and then I will see if I can get it to start.